Okay, we're gonna go through some of my favorite mobility drills to get those hips and legs nice and warm. I do these before pretty much every training session. So starting with your legs outside hip distance, send your hips back and just hang here. Hips back, you should feel a nice stretch through the backs of your legs. Let your head hang. And then we're gonna lean over into the right side and just let our left arm do circles from the shoulder. And then switch directions. And then back to center. And then we're gonna move over to the left side. Again, just letting the arm make circles from the shoulder. And then the other side. As we're in this position too, think about sending your hip in the opposite direction that you're leaning. You'll get a little bit more of a stretch into that low back. Come back to center and just drop your hips down nice and low as you can. Get those elbows on the inside of your knee and then just rock back and forth. Coming all the way up onto your toes, whatever's comfortable here. Pausing in any spots that need a little bit extra attention. And then back to center. Really think about pushing your elbows in and your chest through. So maybe you even feel a stretch into your mid-back. Now bring those hands down. We're gonna come into a tabletop position. So my wrists are below my shoulders and my knees are below my hips. My neck is nice and neutral. And the first move I'm gonna do is I'm going to do a windshield muscle glide. So I'm gonna cross my right ankle over my left, and I'm gonna push my hips towards the right. So now I'm working in stretching through that glute and into that lower back a little bit. It might take a second to kind of find the spot that you need to get into. So pushing more into the side or back, and you can just hold that position, or you can glide back and forth. Then we're gonna come back to center and we're gonna switch. So left ankle crosses over right, and now we're gonna push our hips towards the left. And then just rock it side to side or hold, whatever feels good for you. And then we're gonna come back to center and we're going to, again, do our check-in, make sure we're nice and stacked, neck is neutral, and we're gonna do fire hydrants. So if you haven't done this, it's exactly what you would imagine when I say fire hydrants. You're going to lift your leg, keeping a 90-degree bend up to the side, okay? Just lifting as high as you can go without rolling. So I don't wanna roll my body and twist. I'm keeping everything else still. I'm just moving that leg. And we're gonna do 5 of those. 3, 4, 5, and now we're going to do a hip circle. So starting the same way, and then I'm going to draw a circle with my knee. So lift up, around, we're gonna do 5 of those as well. 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're gonna switch the direction. So from in, up, out, and down. We wanna try and make that circle as big as we can, really working into those hips. 3, I think, 4, and 5. Now we're gonna shoot that leg straight out behind us, and we're gonna do a bird dog. So actively reaching, then if we can, if we have good balance, we're gonna take our opposite hand off the floor. So actively reaching from my fingertips down through my foot, and then as I exhale, I'm gonna bring it in and then back out. 2, 3, 4, 5, and out and reach. That left hand is gonna go down. That right foot is gonna come down, flex your toes, and then push your heel away. So you should be feeling a stretch through that calf, and maybe up through the back of the hamstring as well. Now we're gonna slide that foot all the way over to the left, Let your foot come onto the side, the outside, and then we're gonna push our hips to the right and look at our foot. And then come back to center. Now that right foot is gonna come all the way up to the side. Get that foot flat if you can. If I look down here, I should have a straight line from my hip down to my heel. And then I'm gonna take my hands and I'm gonna walk them forward just a little bit. And then I'm gonna push my hips back and keep my left hip stacked over my right knee. So what might happen is you might end up leaning a little bit more into your right side. We want to keep leaning into our left. As soon as you do that, you'll feel that stretch increase. So push back. And then keeping your hands and feet where they are, we're going to come forward and let our hips drop. And then back. And then forward. And back. And forward. And back one more time. And now we're going to bring that right foot all the way out in front of us. So if your hamstring is really tight here, we can stay up. If available to us, we can bring our hands down to the floor, pull that toe in towards you, stretching through the back of the leg, and then we're going to come down flat foot and push that hip forward. So now I'm sinking forward, okay? And then back and forward and back and forward and back and forward. And then let's come back into that tabletop position, and we're gonna repeat all of that on our left leg. So wrists below shoulders, knees below hips, neck neutral, my core is engaged. We're gonna do fire hydrants first, so lifting nice 90-degree bend. 1, don't roll in those hips or shoulders. 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're gonna do those hip circles. So starting like you're gonna do a fire hydrant and then drawing a big circle with your knee. Moving in through the hip as big as you can. 2, 3, 4. Keeping that 5, that knee in that 90-degree bend. Now let's reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now we're gonna shoot that right leg out behind us, or left leg, sorry. Right hand comes out, and we're gonna do that bird dog. So as we exhale, bring that knee in towards, and elbow towards your center, and reach. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Actively reaching, right hand comes down, pull your toes towards you on that left foot, toes down, come down to the ground, and push your heel away as hard as you can. Now, we're gonna slide that left foot over, let that foot come onto the side, and push your hips towards the left, and look at that foot. Back to center. Bring that left leg all the way out to the side. So again, we're looking for a nice straight line from our hip down to our heel. Walk your hands forward just a little bit, and then push your hips back. So stretching in through that inner outer thigh into the back of your bent leg. Again, making sure we're keeping stacked in our right leg. So I don't want to be over like this, and pushing this way and back. And then rock forward and let your hips drop, kind of like an up dog motion, but in a weird position. And push your hips back and forward and back and forward and back one more time. Bring that left foot out in front of you. So this knee, my right knee is still stacked. Toes pulled up towards you. Again, we can stay up nice and high or come down with our hands to the floor. Wherever you're at, you might find one side is tighter than the other, totally normal. And let's rock forward. Front foot comes flat. I'm gonna push my knee forward and I'm gonna let my back hip push forward and drop. So now I'm stretching in through the front of that back leg as well. And then push back and forward and back and forward and back and forward. And then come back over. Sit on your bum and we'll just do a couple 90 to 90s or windshield slides back and forth. Good. And now your hips should be nice and limber.